Hey everybody, this is Cameron from Obnoxious and Anonymous. Welcome to the Twin Peaks Thought of the Day. Today is June 4th, 2021. I am joined today by Joey Pedras. I have not seen you in forever. How's it going?
It's going all right. It's a Friday once again. How's it going?
We will get to all that. There's actually quite a bit to discuss tonight, which I think is amazing, considering that we're 4 years out from season 3.
Yes.
Isn't it? It seems like yesterday, and yet it also feels like a decade ago.
It really. I mean, last year alone felt like a decade. But yeah, absolutely. I can't believe it.
Absolutely. All right, so let's get to the first thing. Obviously, we have the Queen of Hearts Twitter account. Just for fun, sort of to put my toe in the water a little bit, I decided to put up a poll today because I've noticed that usually a handful of people or so like any given post or retweet any given post, sure. And that there are quite a few, people that are very well known in the Twin Peaks fan community that are following the account, but they don't really like or retweet anything. So it gives me the impression that I'm being hate followed at times. So I did put out a poll that said, how excited are you for Queen of Hearts, to see it? And so far, here are the live results, shall we? So 85.7% are very excited. 0% are somewhat excited, and 14.3% are not at all excited, which is quite funny because it's like, look, I don't have a lot of followers on this account, so for people to vote, I'm not at all interested in this film, but they have to be following the account. So if they're not interested, why are they following the account?
It's a good question.
I'm very confused, but that's at least 5 people that have voted not at all. So I find that quite amusing that there are people who are not interested in the film and yet they're following the account. So anyway.
I mean, I guess overall positive is good, but it's weird.
Well, we have a full day to go by and stuff like that, but I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of people and their friends all voting. They're not interested at all. So to each their own. But I just find it funny that they go out of their way to say they're not interested, but they're following the account anyway. So, Joey, are you interested in Queen of Hearts coming out?
Is there a category above very? No, we only get very, somewhat, not at all.
Yeah.
Very
well,
excited?
If any of you are on Twitter and would like to, give your input on this poll, please go ahead. The more people, the merrier, I say. So
go vote.
Glitter Girl is in the chat. Says, "Hey Cam and Joey." Hello, Glitter Girl.
Oh, hey, Glitter Girl.
And she says, "I'm super excited about Queen of Hearts." Thank you. You awesome. Have no idea, like seriously, how much that means to me. Because sometimes I feel like just nobody cares anymore. So I know people are interested, but the vibe sometimes I get is like, we're done with that. We're on to Wisteria now. We don't really care anymore. So.
Which there is also very little information about anyway, so...
Exactly. So, Wilton is here. Hello, Noah. Wilton. I don't know if Noah's still here or D. Lars is here, but hello for chiming in earlier. Oh, D. Lars is here. Says, "I'm really excited too." Nice. And Glitter Girl says, "I just voted now." Thank you. Hopefully you're excited and didn't check somewhat. I would like to just come on and be like, this is going out to all the somewhats who are interested in seeing this film. Because regardless of whatever, you ultimately think about it, I mean, a lot of people, not just me, a lot of people did put in a tremendous amount of hard work into the film and all that. So it really does mean a lot. Joey, I have to ask you, how the heck are you, and what have you been up to?
I can't say too much. Still, coming out of this quarantine, things are opening up in New Jersey slowly. Technically, they're all open, but everybody's kind of, keeping everybody at arm's length still, wearing the mask and stuff. So I went to the office for the first time yesterday. It was super weird. Felt weird being there, but just been working on some things, working on putting out another little book, hopefully by the fall.
Okay, hang on a second. Is this book 5? I mean, how many books have you put out already?
I just put out like a little poetry book, like a 30. It's a really tiny one. But I'm just trying to get all this stuff that's just been sitting on my hard drive out of there.
So I have volume 1 of your book. Nice. It's still the misspelled version.
Oh yeah, there's probably plenty of typos in there.
Well, anyway, I'm really excited to own volume 1, and but the fact that you're like on volume 25 or something by now is very disheartening to me, considering that I'm still stuck on my project.
To be fair, this is none of this is new writing. It's all stuff I wrote a decade ago at this point. So I'm just putting it all in a file and getting it up there.
It's exciting. I'm really happy for you.
Thank you.
I just want a version that's spelled correctly.
Once I get an actual proper, I actually just made a mass market paperback version. Maybe I'll send you one of those. Yeah, because Barnes and Noble does that. But once I get a novel, then we could talk. Once I get a novel finished.
That's exciting. I can't wait.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start with some news that I did a Twin Peaks Thought of the Day, I don't know, a week or so ago. I can't even remember what I talked about, so forgive me. But we have Joey here, so I figured I'd ask him. For the people in the cheap seats, Dune is coming out in 4K.
Yes, I already pre-ordered it. I'm excited.
Where did you pre-order it from?
So I decided to just wait until the pre-order went up on Amazon. I was thinking about doing this. I might go for the Steelbook. I forgot who else has it up. I know there's a couple places.
That's the one I went for. I went for the big grand deluxe one. But the thing that upsets me about, and I don't know, because I don't have it in front of me, but it looks like you don't get all the posters that come with like the other one, and the other one had like a better poster, but I really wanted like the bigger box set with all the cards and things.
Yeah,
like that. So.
I'm debating doing that one too. I just placed the pre-order just in case, but
right.
I don't know. I might switch to getting that bigger box set, but I'm still on the fence. We'll see.
And also, the Straight Story is coming to Blu-ray.
Yes, saw that
via. I can't even remember, Vision or Viston or something from Australia. And they're good company. They're expensive as all heck.
Well, so everything we get over here from them is imported, right? They manufacture the discs there?
No, because it's $35 for the disc, and then $30 for shipping. So it does. I mean, like, even if you like get more, right? You're still paying an additional $35 for the next disc and still the $30 for shipping. So, like, honestly, the best way to do it is to buy their whole bulk thing, where it's like they sell like 8 of their upcoming releases together for a bundle of like $225. And then what you do is you just get them and then you sell them here, eBay them or whatever like that, and you'll offset your cost really well.
All right.
But I just got the Straight Story, and first time on Blu-ray, as far as I'm aware of, for a U.S. Region 1, as good as it gets on Blu-ray, which it was a film that I didn't like very much when it came out in the theater. I thought Jack Nicholson's character was just like one of the rudest, nastiest people I've ever seen on screen, but that was the point. Yeah. And then when I saw it on Laserdisc and DVD or whatever, I kind of warmed up to it. But the first time in the theater, I like literally wanted to walk out, because I was like, this guy is so, the way he treated Greg Kinnear and was going to dump the dog in the laundry hamper. I was like, no, I can't do this. And he was like so rude to the Helen Hunt's character, and and of course, obviously he becomes a better person, but still, it's just like that first 40 minutes or so. It's like, this isn't funny, guys.
I really need to rewatch that movie now. And come to think of it, it's been a while.
Yeah, I really like James L. Brooks. Back in his heyday, he was, just an amazing filmmaker. But the Straight Story is coming out on Blu-ray, and that's exciting because that's a magnificent film. Yes, it is streaming on Disney Plus, so you can save yourself the $30. And some people are like, well, we'll just wait for it to come out here in the States. I got news for you, folks. Disney ain't ever putting out on Blu-ray here in the States, and nor have they ever, as far as I'm aware of, contracted out to Criterion to release any of their films. So this may be, I know there might be a Japanese import as well, but the Australian import is, and that can play region free. So if you want the Straight Story, get it. And Dune 4K. I was scared that Dune was going to be a UK release only. I was like, oh,
yeah, God. I saw that news go up first.
But no, they're going to do a US release. And, the only negative about the Dune set is no extended cut.
Mm.
But then again, David Lynch took his name off that extended cut. So there's like, well, but there are so many bonus features on there. Of course, Lynch is not involved with any of them.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like a 2-hour documentary about the film, multiple commentaries. It's going to be great.
No, yeah, it looks like a nice, full round package Blu-ray. Yeah.
So you basically, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was trying to think what else was on it. I was looking at that whole big box set the other day. I know it comes with a bunch of those posters and like little. It doesn't come with figures, does it? No, right?
No, it's basically the postcards and things like that. I mean, if it came with, a sandworm, that'd be awesome.
Missed opportunity.
Exactly. All right. So next up, let's talk about, because this was just brought up in the chat anyway, but we were going to talk about it anyway, and that is this. Jim Morrison, or Jerry Garcia himself, made an appearance on David Lynch's Weather Report a few days ago, and he purposely moved his head in a way so it would get the wave going. I was like, what on earth? And then the next day, like a miracle, it was gone.
I know. It's so funny, but I love the look. I love the full beard. It's very not Lynch, but it's also.
So I've seen pictures of him when he was younger, where for a little bit he had just a teeny little scruffy thing, Mm-hmm. This is full on.
Yeah,
right?
This is full Santa Claus. Yeah,
full on, and with the hair. I mean, he looks like someone you'd see at a blues club or something on stage, just in the background. And it's so weird to see him like this. And yet I don't know. It's so cool, but at the same time, it's so weird. But I don't know. It's like,
I wish I could be half of that cool at that age.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out and I know I shouldn't ask this because it's David Lynch, but why? Do you know what I mean? Like after he got his vaccination, he didn't get his hair cut till now. He waited an additional month and a half.
Hey, why do you think I'm wearing a hat? My hair's a mess.
No, but the full beard, the hair, I mean, it's a great look. But you know what? When he came back the next day and shaved and haircut, I was like, what was the purpose of all that, David?
For this reaction right here, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I still maintain that this look is for whatever it is they were working on, and they probably got the shots they needed.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I wish he had kept it, because I think this is a great look.
I would have loved to have seen some behind the scenes featurettes on the next project with him looking like that. But he would have to have sort of the jacket that Corey Haim was wearing in The Lost Boys when he went to the comic book shop. It's the long, flowy, drapey thing.
Uh-huh. It's Gordon Cole on the other side. He's just
that's what I'm saying. This is what I want in Wisteria or Twin Peaks season 4 or whatever. I want this. I want them to go like, we need to find Gordon Cole. And when they find him, he's just so mad because he remembers everything, that he's just let
he's
himself
like
go.
Interesting. Okay.
That's what I wanted. And, what
I was going with like dude at the back of the bar, just, chain smoking and drinking, like, I don't know, whiskey sours or something.
Now, see, this honestly is the look he should have had in Lucky when he was looking for his pet turtle.
Ah, yes. Okay. Yeah, he was too clean for that movie.
Way too clean.
I don't know. I'm going to miss this. Like, this is a good look.
And it took him like a year to do it. I mean, I've seen people on social media do a time lapse of his weather reports.
Yes, I've seen those. Yeah.
Oh,
I saw that. Yeah.
Funny. But I mean, it's like super cool. But at the same time, though, it's like, look, I have to give it to him, right? If he just had like a little bit of beard, I'm like, okay, it doesn't really fit you, David, but whatever. He went for it, dude. He went for it. He committed.
Yeah, the hair on the side, just like on the side of his face.
You got to see the video, guys. Go to his weather report, like from like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And watch the video, because he doesn't just do it like this. He literally moves his head to the side so you get the sway.
Yeah.
It's almost like he just said, suck
funny.
it up, buttercups, because it's gone tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like, check this out. Like, this might be the last time I ever have it like this. So he's doing it for himself and for us. It's so good.
Oh, my goodness. I can't even imagine. Imagine.
Gotta love it.
Glitter Girl says David Lynch did this to show he's the man. And Stanley says, my first thought was Lynch has finished his old man Gordon Cole filming and has gone back to the neat cut look. I would like to think that's what this is all about, as opposed to just Lynch, playfully going mad in his workhouse.
I like both. I like both scenarios, but yeah.
Oh my goodness!
I want to see crazy Gordon Cole also, or old man Gordon.
I know. I want him to be like. I want him to be like the like that guy in the Matrix Reloaded with all the TVs and stuff like that.
Unrecorded night. You never know. He might be watching different iterations and stuff. He might, tapped into the multiverse. Who knows?
That's exciting. Do not ever say to me Twin Peaks and multiverse without meaning it, because that just makes me so happy to hear that kind of stuff. I really want a scene where Lara Flynn Boyle meets Maura Kelly. Like, I
feel like it could happen in this.
I know it could
crossover world.
I know it could happen because the
doppelganger ? Question mark.
Well, I just want one of them to look at each other in the mirror and see the other one.
Even if it's quick, like he's just walking past the mirror and you see Moira Kelly or something, or the other way around.
It would be amazing. All right, so let's talk about this controversial article that got dropped yesterday from, of course, Nerdist.
Oh.
And they dropped the article, David Lynch loses it when producer says scene is too long. Now,
we're about like 2 years, 3 years too late with this.
They're about 4. Because anybody who saw the bonus features off the first season 3 set knows that this was a clip. They're acting like this is like newly discovered footage of David Lynch off the rails. And it's not. It's like footage from like 6 years ago. But they made it a modern article. It just got dropped yesterday. It caused such a stir on Reddit that Sabrina Sutherland herself had to chime in and describe the situation. I made a video about this yesterday, so check that out. First of all, Joey, why is this news now?
I don't know. Somebody either they're pop culture, I don't know, editors, writers are way out of touch, or they were digging for something, or they probably saw it on TikTok or something.
This is honestly what I think it is. I think that, remember that David O. Russell footage I showed you a while back from the I Heart Huckabees stuff with him yelling at Lily Tomlin and being a little pain in the butt?
Mm-hmm.
He was trending a few days ago. right? For his abhorrent behavior on the set of Three Kings, I Heart Cuckabees. I mean, George Clooney punched him out on the set of Three Kings because he was yelling at an extra.
That's one of my favorite stories. I love George Clooney. He's the best.
And so I think Nerdist, going off the David O. Russell footage leak, tried to set Lynch up to have a controversial moment in his career. Like,
yeah, this is outrage bait. Hardcore.
I think it is. I think they deliberately tried to make David Lynch into a David O. Russell type of situation here. And listen, while I personally think, you know, David Lynch is like grouchy old man on set is not my favorite look for him, his outburst, while I do think it is a little over the top, is nothing compared to what David O. Russell was doing.
Not even close. He just wants to have the scene. He doesn't give a shit how long a scene is. It's not the same. He's not like throwing over papers and knocking down sets and all this stuff.
But Sabrina did clarify what I always what I was hoping that she would, because I remember seeing this clip and you know, people share it all the time on Twitter and as memes and gifs and stuff, as like as a stick it to the man, David, you know, don't, you do you, and you know, and all this stuff. And Sabrina came out and just said, look, this was a situation in which the assistant directors and myself had talked to Lynch several times about something, and she doesn't go into specifics, but she's talking about this, I guess, the scene in general. Mm-hmm. She said we repeatedly talked to him about something, and then his assistant Corey, who is the blue hair lady from Mulholland Drive, came and reminded him of their discussion, whatever the discussion was about. Assuming it was about the length of the scene and coverage and that kind of stuff. And so Sabrina says David got mad, not because someone wasn't a Showtime executive, you know, sticking their 2 cents in. It was that he felt like he was reminded too much. And then she said, what you didn't see was after the cameras were off, he quickly apologized and blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
That type of thing. So it just... and again, his assistant directors are not like new hires. They've been working with him since Twin Peaks season 1. So it's not like, David O. Russell screaming at an extra. This was like literally like old friends miscommunicating.
Yeah, they're probably super close. Yeah, I'm sure they're super close. Like, don't you F around with your friends too? Like, or get angry with your friends, especially if you're working on something or have to be in close quarter. You know, it's out of context.
And I've said before, I'll say it again. Yes, David Lynch does his long scenes, and that's great. But I do agree with that not every scene has to be the length of eternity.
I mean, again, it's his thing. I think we love him for it. We don't have to agree with the choice, but
no, but the thing is that when you watch something like Blue Velvet or Wild at Heart or like, you know, his earlier stuff, he knew what scenes to move and what scenes to elongate. Like, you know what I mean? Like Jeffrey and Sandy going down the back steps of Isabella Rossellini's character in Blue Velvet should be a minute and a half. That should not be a 15-minute set piece as they descend the stairs, right? But Frank taking Jeffrey to Ben's house and keeping him captive there for 20 minutes is perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anyway, but
actually, there's a quote, one of my favorite YouTubers, you might have seen her videos, Maggie Mayfish. She actually put out a tweet about this. And I thought it was perfect. She says, David Lynch is one of the best counter examples of lesser artists who excuse the treatment of their actors for the art. On set, he yells amazing and okie dokie while dissecting the tragedies of misogyny without recreation with the collaboration of his female leads, which I thought was a perfect, condensation of who Lynch is as a director. So I don't think a lot of people that don't, know Lynch outside of just the movies or Twin Peaks or whatever kind of get how he's perceived, and everybody that works with him loves him. I think Lisa might have actually replied to this. I can't find her reply, but Oh yeah, she says, I worked with him. I never felt so protected or taken care of during an absolutely traumatic scene. He deeply cared for me and the actors around me, which I thought was cool for her to add in there.
Absolutely. And, most of the time when he's grouchy old man on set, as of late, because he hasn't always been a grouchy old man, it's kind of cute and adorable. The plaster of Paris thing and all that.
Oh, right.
And then, like, someone wrote to me the other day saying, well, if you watch the behind the scenes of Inland Empire, he's cursing up a storm and ticked off too. And I said, yeah, but that one makes sense because he wasn't directing it at people. He's just in a bad mood. Now, why would he be in a bad mood? I don't know. Maybe if you were shooting a feature film with a camcorder in 0-degree Poland, you might not be in the greatest mood all the time.
I mean, yeah, whenever he gets upset, I don't know. I could be leaving something out, but it doesn't seem pointed usually at anybody. He could be upset about a situation, but it never seems targeted at an individual. It's kind of frustration with how things are going.
So that one behind the scenes clip from the initial season 3 box set, and if you'll notice when the Z to A box set came out, and they had more bonus features, more behind the scenes featurettes, there were no David Lynch outbursts anymore. They didn't allow those in the second half, but in the first set they do. And and it's on YouTube. The one of him sitting at the desk, and Sabrina and Scott Cameron, his assistant, one of his assistants, is going over the next couple days' work with him in terms of working with Ben Horn, Richard Beamer. And, he does that classic line now about, like, we don't have time to get dreamy.
Bang, like a fucking machine.
Right. But if you listen to what he's saying, he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
In what he's saying. Now, what you feel in that moment is the frustration of film scheduling, which is like, okay, it's no longer about, okay, it's going to take a few days to get this scene. It's that the actor has to be let go by a certain time, or else you're going to have to pay them more, blah, blah. It's all the technical stuff. And that's honestly the stuff that I know David Lynch likes to get involved with, that kind of stuff, because he produces stuff. But at the same time, it was like, he doesn't want to think about that. He wants to be in the zone, think about all this stuff. And so when everybody talks about how great episode 8 is of season 3 and about the firemen and Senorita Dido and all that, and again, who doesn't love it? It's great stuff. But when he talks about the schedule is not going to allow him to do what he needs to do, God, it makes me think to myself, what did he have in plan that he wasn't able to do? It says to me that episode 8 probably would have been even better.
Yeah, because even in that same scene where he's at the desk, he says, I could have spent all week in the firemen's, I think he said.
Right.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
So who knows? Who the hell knows?
I wish they had just said, they could have, it was probably too late in the schedule, but I would have been like, you know what, Kyle, you're a good actor. Maybe we'll get 1 or 2 takes of you doing this and, let him go for a week in the firemen's, because that is sort of that is the middle piece of season 3. I would have loved to have seen it. And I wouldn't be surprised if one day, even if it was something as short as like Rabbits or something like that, if we didn't get a 30-minute, 40-minute short film of the fireman's place with David Lynch. That'd because be awesome. Sabrina was showing the floor off again on Instagram a few days ago. And she, and I joked on there with her about because she said, "Which floor is better, the red room or the fireman's place?" And I said, "Well, right. one's good to sweep and one's good to vacuum." And she liked that comment.
Good.
But it's like I totally understand what he's saying. I think what he expresses he cusses a little bit, but it's pretty eloquently the way he says it, though. What every filmmaker has to feel is the schedule. You have to make your day. And I think that honestly, nothing would make David Lynch happier than to go back to those Eraserhead days where he's living in horse stables by himself, where they would literally nail the door shut at night so that the guardsmen didn't know he was in there. in Henry's house, in Henry's apartment. And then they would unbolt him in the morning, bring him breakfast and stuff like that. And he would go do his paper route. And I think that it took him 5 years to make Eraserhead. And while that's a tremendous amount of time, if you think about it, if you're making Eraserhead and you're living in that world, that had to have been his college years. You know what I mean? That's what I think he remembers Eraserhead so fondly.
Yeah.
That I think that he's been wanting to chase that ever since I think he wanted to try that with Inland Empire, but Inland Empire is too big of a scope to do that. I think you need something that's very much apartment house based, where you can just be. And honestly, sign me up for a 2-hour film of just being in the fireman's house with that mood, with the purple ocean and Dido and all that. I'm totally there.
It's starting to grow on me. I think I'm very excited for whatever Wisteria or Unrecorded Night's going to be, because he's in the sandbox now. Like Netflix, Showtime is not Netflix. Netflix is the sandbox, especially for somebody like David Lynch. They're going to let him play around. They have equipment to spare. They have, millions and millions of dollars.
And there's no real deadlines at Netflix. It's basically like, we would like it, but whenever you're done, we'll make it work.
For someone like him, I'm sure there's not, No,
I mean, Martin Scorsese asked them for nearly $200 million for The Irishman. They said, you get a pen. You write him a check.
It's smart. It's legacy filmmaking. These things are going to live forever. Regardless of how you feel about Irishman. I wasn't crazy about it, but I know that movie's going to be taught in film classes and stuff like that years and years to come. It's just going to be something people watch.
Yeah. Let's see. There's a few comments here. Let's see here. Justin says this was a clickbait article. Writers who literally troll Reddit looking 100%. For topics to write nothing articles on and make pocket change. I've noticed that Nerdist and there's a few other places come out literally with a David Lynch or Twin Peaks related article about 3 or 4 times a week. And I'm like, are your clicks that good?
Yeah, I doubt it.
I mean, yes, if we do a Twin Peaks or David Lynch related video on this channel, it gets more views than if I talk about Heathers or something like that. But but at the same time, though, it's Nerdist is a pretty big company, I would think, or website.
It was.
Is David Lynch really paying the bills over there? Let's see. Tony says this is like the Pentagon alien thing, old news with different narratives. And Tony says, glad the Lynch beard, or sad the Lynch beard is gone.
Me too.
Salvador says online sites have been after Lynch as a misogynist for years. This kind of attack shouldn't be surprising. I don't think they were going for that angle.
This
article.
If that's the case, I think that's a hysterical angle to go from, because you have Laura Dern, who's she's a big proponent of Me Too, she's feminist icon, all this stuff. You think Laura Dern would work with David Lynch as many times as she has, and consider him a friend, almost like a brother or something, if she thought he was a misogynist.
Well, I could make the argument. It's why did Elijah Dushku continue to work with Joss Whedon show after show after show, and then throw him under the bus when?
But do you think the same? I don't know. You know my feelings on Joss Whedon, but
no, I know. But I'm just saying that actors do work with people over and over and over again until something.
This is true. But I've yet to hear anything negative about David Lynch.
I gotta tell you, I know I probably have said it before, but I was terrified when all the Me Too stuff started happening. I was like, oh God, he's gonna be one of them, because of his moving from companion to companion over the decades. I thought, oh God, here it comes.
I'm sure, personally, maybe he I don't know. I don't know about his personal life or his relationships. But nobody said anything. If it's true, then that's unfortunate. But I don't know.
I think that enough time has gone by that if people wanted to bury David Lynch in terms of that kind of stuff, they could have.
That's the thing. It seems like when people go after him, they're pulling at straws.
Well, I found something today because we're talking about story in a second here, but in trying to find some information for Steven's story that he wrote about the Fire Walk With Me premiere at the Cannes Film Festival, I found some old I have tons and tons and tons of David Lynch Twin Peaks articles and things like that. And so I found one. I was like, oh my God, I've been looking for this one for a long time. And I did find it. And since we're talking about, how people come after Lynch, I'll just show it to you. Sure. Because I mean, not that this is coming after Lynch, because this is a long time ago. This is actually from, I believe, April of 1990. No, it's not that one. Let's see. Sorry. It's not that one. Let's see. Let's see. How can I do this here? Let's see. Is it here? Okay.
Is it behind this door?
Yeah. Well, you never know it. Sorry, guys. Hang on a second. Yeah. Okay. So this is interesting. Let's see. There it goes. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
I can.
I'll read it though. It says Tough Cookie. This is from April 1990. Says Lynch is a walking mass of contradictions. The calm, friendly director who never loses his temper on the set, who meditates for 40 minutes during his lunch break, and who scolds his production designer, Patricia Norris, in a gentlemanly fashion for swearing too much. See, he's really changed, right? Is also a man with an almost ruthless compulsion to make art. He's a tough cookie, says Jack Nance, the star of Eraserhead. He's not some naive, golly gee whiz kind of character. He's smart, shrewd, and a cold, calculating, tough guy. Right?
Okay. Now
it continues on. And remember all those Trump stories that came out a while ago that they had to quickly, right? Kind of put out. It continues on. It may also surprise people to learn that this artistic radical is a political conservative. He loves Ronald Reagan, says Jennifer Lynch. David loves America. He's got a very strong go-get-'em attitude when it comes to America's enemies. Lynch himself is uncomfortable talking about politics. He feels kind of goofy talking about it. For me, things need to be fairly secure out in the world. Then you can kind of rebel against that. David Lynch describes himself as a libertarian.
That makes more sense.
But isn't that interesting that, like, not since 1990 has that kind of information been out there?
Huh. It's almost like we always knew.
Oh, I remember reading that because this was a Twin Peaks article. And I remember reading that going, wow, he wants like the safety of the Ronald Reagan, or what he perceives as the safety of the Ronald Reagan America, as a strong, stable place for him to just go hog wild. Like he feels like he's got to be under that kind of situation.
I mean, but we've seen people make this joke a lot, like satire's dead, especially like the past couple of years, because of, the world seems satirical, and when the world seems satirical, diminishes surrealist or satirical art, because like reality is weirder than fiction.
And keep in mind too that David Lynch not only was an Eagle Scout, but actually sat people at the John F. Kennedy inauguration. So yeah, I think he's a bit of a contradiction in many ways.
I mean, episode 8 is pure evil comes out of the atomic bomb explode. That's you think somebody that's, you know, super pro Americana like would be like, yeah, we got the bad guys with this, but he's like, no, evil was born on this day, essentially. So interesting contradiction.
Right. Let's see. Rob's here. Hello. Rob says, finally catching a live stream. Great. Well, it's great to have you here. Salvador says, Roger Ebert tried to trash Lynch as a misogynist in his Blue Velvet review. I remember that. The thing is about that is that I believe he interviewed Isabella Rossellini in regards to that film, and based off her answer is what made him more uncomfortable. He didn't like the idea that, I guess, the production didn't notify the neighborhood like what they were filming, and so the grandparents and the kids were all sitting down in the neighborhood to watch them film a scene, and Isabella Rossellini came out naked in the so
that's actually pretty hilarious. That's kind of like the story he tells in Room to Dream.
Yes, but what's really funny about that is that Wilmington almost immediately shut down his filming permits after that, and everything became stage bound.
Yikes. Probably should have gave him a warning, but I didn't know that. That's funny.
Yeah. Jacob says, I wasn't worried about Lynch being Me Too'd. He doesn't give me Predator vibes. Not to mention there are filmmakers like Todd Phillips, who has publicly admitted to being a scumbag with zero consequence. Was Todd Phillips a scumbag to you on the set of Joker?
I didn't really talk to him. He was kind of like, I honestly didn't realize who it was for a while. I'm like, oh, it's that short guy over there yelling in the megaphone. So I passed him 100 times, but he looked like an extra to me. Not to be a jerk. I didn't know that was Todd Phillips. I'd never had really seen him like. He looks different in person. He's a lot shorter. I'm not that tall either.
No. All right, so let's discuss the big article that dropped today. This is courtesy of Stephen Miller's website, Twin Peaks blog, which you should all be checking out and reading.
Oh, apparently he's 6 foot. He didn't seem 6 foot. I don't know.
But here we go. There's a lot of things to discuss with this article. Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me at the Cannes Film Festival. So here it goes. When Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me premiered during the Cannes Film Festival, or Cannes Film Festival, in May 1992, the world was a different place. The internet barely existed and certainly wasn't what it is today. It's funny for me to hear that because I did a lot of computer stuff back in the day. I didn't even know there was an internet thing back then. I didn't hear about that. I remember it was 1994 when I was like, email, what's that? Almost a year after the season 2 finale in the US, folks in France and Japan would get to see David Lynch's prequel film first. And then, okay, so we're going to continue on. He goes, brief history of Cannes, So basically, he's just kind of giving us an overlay of what's going on here. It says, in 1992, the event was held May 7th through the 18th, and American films by American directors dominated the lineup. Paul Verhoeven's Basic Instinct, uncut, which, by the way, is, I mean, obviously it's on DVD and Blu-ray, but that would have been exciting to see in the theater. And Robert Altman's The Player, James Ivory's Howard's End, Gary Sinise's Of Mice and Men, which co-starred Sherilyn Fenn. And the festival closed with Ron Howard's 70 millimeter epic Far and Away with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. It makes sense then why David Lynch, who is American's apple pie, joined the mix that spring. Already a favorite in France, he took home the Palme d'Or 2 years earlier for Wild at Heart. Many attendees in 1982 were anxious to see how his Twin Peaks story would continue. All right, so then it continues on. Lynch had only a handful of months to complete the film. Principal photography took place in September and October 91, with a handful of soundstage scenes in Southern California in November 91. This left Lynch about 6 months to edit, mix, color correct, and finalize the movie. Here's Kyle MacLachlan at Cannes. Now there's some discrepancy here because they state days before the screening, Kyle MacLachlan arrived to help promote the film. He did multiple interviews for various international media and entertainment news outlets. By all records we have found, Kyle did not stay to attend the premiere. likely due to a scheduling conflict, but it was great to see him there promoting the film regardless. Well, I got news for you. He didn't really have a choice because that's built into the actor's contract that they have to do publicity. But if you go to this exciting book, David Lynch here, one of the things it says is, in Cannes, Lynch described his efforts to persuade McLaughlin, and there were other traces of them as well. To the great surprise of the international press, Kyle did not attend the world premiere of Fire Walk with Me. One may imagine that his absence from the premiere, though he arrived in Cannes shortly afterwards to support another film, was one of the conditions he laid down before agreeing to play Cooper again, to avoid a cumbersome identification, which has been confirmed time and again, can undermine an actor's career. So according to this book, which was released, a year or so after, one of the stipulations was that Kyle would not do some press for Fire Walk with Me. Although him and Lynch did do one for, it was like Good Morning America or the Today Show or something when they came back. But that's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah,
really
actors
trying to get away.
Actors
Which
all.
I get.
I totally get it. But what I don't get is a year later he shows up in this Georgia Coffee commercials as Agent Cooper and plays those commercials like he never left the role. But in Fire Walk with Me, I mean, is sleepwalking the correct term? I mean, I think some of Kyle's best acted scenes in Fire Walk with Me hit the cutting room floor. I think some of those scenes with Michael J. Anderson, The Black Lodge, or the scene with Kiefer Sutherland are almost better than his scenes in the film. But thank God they left out that Diane scene. Oh, Lord. That's not even what bothers me. It's the sashaying up the door and doing the
yeah, it doesn't work. That was a good cut.
It's a good cut because it does not fit Fire Walk with Me at all.
No.
At all. All right, so let's continue on here. Okay, this is great. They found some paparazzi pictures of Lynch and Mary Sweeney going around Paris.
Nice briefcase.
I know. Well, they point this out here. That is the same briefcase that Albert's carrying.
That's amazing.
Right? So
that's great.
Isn't that great? It's like, but that's not even like in the movie, right? She's just walking around Paris with Albert's suitcase. That's amazing. All right, so here's him and Mary Sweeney looking happy.
Sharp.
And they would go on to work with each other for up until I don't know if it was production of Inland Empire or just pre-production, but she was with them for a while, long time. And even before Fire Walk with Me, I found out that she had worked on Blue Velvet as well, so they had known each other for a long time. And then here's a nice picture with Angelo Badalamenti.
Is that who that is?
Yeah, he's apparently stalking them with a Twin Peaks t-shirt. He's like, you are going to use my music this time, aren't you, David?
Black dog runs at night. Dog runs.
Exactly. And then look at him and Michael J. Anderson looking happy back then.
Yeah, that best friends.
Yeah, look, I got to scroll all the way down.
That picture.
I know, it's a good picture. I like the khaki pants.
Khakis.
Lynch and Sweeney were later joined by Badalamenti, Julie Cruz, Bob Ingalls, and Michael J. Anderson. And here's Julie Cruz there. They found some amazing pictures from back in the day.
These are great. Yeah.
I know. These are so good.
Who was the photographer that day? They did a good job.
Yeah. Let's see here. And look, he's handing Lynch a blue rose. Look how happy they are. And then years later, David Lynch would turn him into a tree. Look at this. It's so cute. And then here's James Marshall. Unbeknownst to Lynch and team, James Marshall was also at Cannes during the same time promoting Gladiator.
Oh, okay. that.
Then Walter Olkowitz also joined them that day, but ended up spending more time at Palm Beach, the nude beach. That was down the street from the hotel. Side note, the city of Cannes, whatever, eventually banned nudity in 2009.
That's hilarious.
So Walter Olkowitz got to enjoy it while he could. So here it is. Obviously, this famous shot. This shot was used all the time for publicity of the movie back in the day. And I like how, like, over, everywhere else it was called Wild at Heart, but over in France it was called Sailor et Lula. So, says for years it has been rumored that Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me received a cold reception when it was screened at Cannes. Years later, cast and crew members have shared inconsistent stories as to whether the news articles accurately reported what actually happened at the world premiere. Bob Ingalls says, I was there. It didn't happen. I was sitting with Mary Sweeney and David Lynch. The audience didn't boo. You remember when people hate what you wrote. Now, there is going to be sort of, I mean, these are facts, but I don't think that Steven and his co-writers totally know how Con is usually run. So we'll get into that in a second here. Lynch mob hates Twin Peaks film. Yet all the reviews published between May 17th and the 31st seem to reinforce that the film was booed at the end of the screening. Here are two additional examples of clippings from the day after the film's premiere. So what they're saying is that the reviewers are saying it got booed, and Bob Ingalls and other people are saying it didn't get booed. Well, this is where they get a little confused, because every screening of a film that is going for the Palme d'Or that's entered into competition has always two screenings: the press screening and the red carpet screening. The filmmakers never go to the press screening. The press don't go to the red carpet screening. So it has always been my understanding that the press booed the film, and the red carpet audience, it was always like not quite known what had happened, but it was the press audience that was always confirmed to be the one that booed them. But they're a little confused here because they're trying to go like, well, nobody booed when Lynch and them were there. Well, no, because they went to the red carpet one. So David Lynch is booed for Twin Peaks film. Lynch booed at Cannes for Twin Peaks movie. Then it says 2 screenings. While the press ran with these stories, we were happy to share that based on some deep digging, I'm not quite sure why they had to deep dig though, because this has been like this for like decades. We can finally confirm that there were 2 Coopers. There were at least 2 screenings, one early screening for press and critics, the second being the official world premiere. Most importantly, the crowd gave a standing ovation at the latter screening. Here is evidence. So it says, if David Lynch seems less forthcoming than one might expect, the poor reception of hissing and booing when he entered may have been partly to blame. Apparently, though, Lynch was unaware of the negative response his film had just received at the press screening. They always do the press screenings in the mornings, usually around 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. What I was surprised, though, is that usually after the press screening, the filmmakers do the Q&A. So he must not have done a Q&A for it, which is surprising because usually every filming competition, you have to do the Q&A. I mean, he even did a Q&A for Inland Empire, which you can find on YouTube, for goodness sake. Says, so here's Mary Sweeney and Michael J. Anderson walking.
I've seen this picture.
Yeah, it's pictures we've seen before. They were joined by Badalamenti, Walter Olkowitz, Bob Ingalls, the producer, and singer Julie Cruz. Here's Lynch and the producer. Nice. By pure coincidence, David Lynch spotted James Marshall on the red carpet. He had no idea that James was also going to be at Cannes that week. He called over to James and invited him to join the group. Okay. And then the red carpet moved straight to the screening. And then Aaron Cohen, who I'm sure most of you know in the Twin Peaks fan community, he sent in this footage of Julie Cruz talking about the screening. So check that out. So screening 2, following the red carpet, Lynch, Sweeney, and Ingalls, others unconfirmed, attended the film's world premiere. This was the second screening. And so here is, I'm going to, let's see. Yeah, you should be able to hear it. You pump this up. So you'll be able. They actually got footage of the ending of the film from the second screening. So here we go. And you see people standing.
Des réactions comme d'habitude très controversées pour David Lynch, ce qui n'empêche pas de toute façon d'avoir le succès que l'on sait.
Okay. So that's great footage. I'd never seen that. I'd never seen that before. So that's cool.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
All right. Let's see. Okay. So critical response. This is where it gets really interesting. And so this is where Steven's genius really comes in. So how is the film received and scored at Cannes? He got the judges. He found the judges. And then he found their cards of how they voted for the films. That is brilliant. Brilliant. Wow. And it said that the Player was voted as the top choice. Out of 21 films, 2 didn't get scored. There were 8 or 10 films that scored lower than Fire Walk with Me. So Of Mice and Men was number 21. Wow. Basic Instinct. So Fire Walk with Me was didn't break the top 10, but still, I mean, that's not like a complete failure. It's not the bottom of the list here.
It's also a prequel to a TV series. I mean, it's a movie, but it's a little different.
Okay, so it says May 16th night after party. After the premiere, Lynch and crew attended a star-studded Twin Peaks party only VIPs could attend. So here's some cool pictures. Julie Cruz arriving. Oh my God, I wonder, like, you know, these things are like just found on someone's old VHS tape that they dug out of the attic here. Mm-hmm. Look at Walter just like rocking it. He's like bite the bullet, baby.
R.I.P.
Yeah, exactly. I know, like
These
Lynch.
awesome
See,
pictures.
he doesn't look like he got trashed.
Hell no, he looks happy as hell.
Right. This does not look like a guy that's just everywhere he goes, he's getting booed. You know,
how did that booing story become like the story? That's
because
so
the press is what writes the reviews, right? So of course if they're in attendance, they're going to say it got booed, which it did, but it also got cheers. You know, it was, if you listen to Mark Kermode, he talks about it was basically an equal measure. But you know what else got equal measure? Wild at Heart. When Wild at Heart won the Palme d'Or, there were audience members, including Roger Ebert, booing the win. So, I mean, David Lynch is not unfamiliar with people booing him in France. And honestly, being booed at the Cannes Film Festival is kind of an honor too, you know? So it is. I mean, like, obviously you want the standing ovation, but you know,
sure. What you got for the return?
I love it when people online will say like, oh, look, see David Lynch, you know, he came back with the return. He got a 6-minute standing ovation. I always love to respond and be like, yeah, well, when Kevin Smith took Clerks 2 there, he got an 8-minute standing ovation. So a standing ovation at the Cannes Film Festival is great.
For Clerks 2?
Yes, 8 minutes.
I mean, it's fine, but
that's what I'm saying though. It's like getting a standing ovation in Cannes is great, but it's something they do for almost any film they like. So
wait, Clerks 2 got an 8-minute standing ovation at Cannes?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that.
It's true.
I like that movie, but why?
Well, I remember somebody posted on online saying like, you know, he got 6 minutes standing ovation, and then somebody in the comments wrote, this is a really nasty little comment, but it made me laugh, so I have to say it. It said, yeah, well, if they had played the whole 18 hours, maybe he would have gotten booed. because the first 2 hours did not have the Dougie stuff in it, right? So
right, yeah.
It just that made me laugh. That made me laugh so hard. Whoever wrote that. Anyway, so it says here's Michael J. Anderson sitting with a tall, mysterious blonde woman. They have no idea who she is, but here she is. Here he is sitting on her lap.
Oh my god, who is that? Is she real? She looks like an alien.
I don't know. Again, does Lynch and Badalamenti look like they're like in the corner crying at this moment? Maybe this is a moment where he looks a little nervous. But
yeah, but he's writing. He's looking down and writing.
I know. But look at this. I mean, him and Michael J were like, they were besties, and then he turned him into a tree. But again, I mean, for good reason. I mean, Michael J. Anderson
a lot happened between this moment.
Did cross the line by saying that David Lynch created Twin Peaks by knowing how to murder people. Following the screening, those with VIP access walked across the seaside walkway to Majestic Beach. While outside, they caught a glimpse of a 20-foot high letters atop the roof of the Carlton that read Twin Peaks. This was a special treat that CIBY Pictures commissioned for the premiere. Huge clouds of smoke rose over the rooftop as the music of Twin Peaks soundtrack is pumped through the speakers everywhere. Tonight, there's music in the air. Thousands of people are directed to walk across the street to the sandy beach and towards a large barge floating in the middle of the ocean. Through the night, though the night is pitch black, their paths are lit up by candle lights that lay across the beach. This is some other world that I've never been to in my life.
Oh my god!
Right?
Can we go back in time?
As the crowds arrive at the barge, oh my god! Like when Wild at Heart was at the Cannes, they did a big dinner, and Nicolas Cage got up on the table. Of course he did, right? And sang "Love Me Tender" to the judges, like on the dinner table.
That's awesome.
Right. As the crowds arrive at the barge, a huge screen towers behind the barge and begins transmitting images from the private Twin Peaks party, followed by interview clips of the cast and crew. And then here's the sign. Here's the sign with smoke going everywhere. This is amazing, isn't it?
I've never seen this.
No, I know. This has got me really excited here. Okay, so then Julie Cruz performed. Of course she did. And let's see. Here's some more footage of her singing. She's wearing the same dress from the Roadhouse scene. That's good. Then Michael J. Anderson shows up and does a real indication. Interesting. Look at this though. I mean, this looks like the lighting from the Pink Room scene in Fire Walk with Me.
Well, that washed out red.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah, I never understood why they call it the Pink Room because it's so hellish red, right? So fireworks going in the sky, right? Would you be doing fireworks in the sky if you got booed? Come on.
Yeah, that's not a movie that got booed at all.
Okay, so here is where some really interesting things happen here because I would just like to add my tidbit here. So it's a 3.5 hour cut. The days, weeks, and months after the event teased many rumors, including a famous one of a 3.5 hour cut being screened at the event. After 29 years, I put this one to bed by purchasing the official program given at cons via an eBay auction.
Nice.
The one and only theatrical print was screened at both cons and also opened on the same day in Japan. Okay. Well, I went to the 1993 Motion Picture Guide Annual, which is a sort of an almanac, for like films that came out the previous year. And it says right here, it's getting to be an old story, but Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me underwent some drastic trimming before reaching American screens, losing 20 minutes of its original running time after it was nearly booed off screens at the Cannes Film Festival. So I've never heard of a 3.5 hour cut of it premiering. I have heard of a 150-minute cut showing. Now that doesn't mean it showed at Cannes, but I do think that I have an article from, I believe, the Cannes Film Festival that talks about that Lynch did make some sound adjustments to the film after it screened. Like, I could be wrong, but I think all that opera music at the end during the murder was not there, and you just heard Leland killing Laura. And I think they kind of over drowned it,
I'm so fascinated right now.
It is. And for those of you who are commenting, I'll get to you when we're done. So hang on. So this is interesting. So the Cannes Film Festival says that it was the runtime. Now, what's interesting about that is I believe it was People Magazine at the time said that a longer version had screened. They didn't say how long. And that Lynch had to cut it to 2 hours and 15 minutes for the American distribution, which was 135 minutes was his contract. And he cut it to 134 and 40 seconds or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was always under the impression and understood. The other thing is I remember at the time being told after the movie came out, and I'd like to know where this came from, because again, this is pre-internet. So how on earth would I have heard this if it wasn't like some sort of official thing? And that was that there were talks that Lynch was going to release a longer version of the film when it hit VHS. And that, of course, that didn't happen. It still hasn't happened. I mean, the fan cut is,
Mm-hmm.
a bootleg, but I remember at the time in 1992 hearing that oh, well, don't worry, you will get to see that footage when the VHS release comes out. Maybe someone else can find some information about that, but I distinctly remember that being something to look forward to. And I remember getting the tape and going, oh, well, I guess they didn't do that. Anyway, all right. Another rumor around the time claims that there were plans for 2 additional Fallout films should the first one do well. Maybe some evidence will turn up at some point, but for now, who knows where or when. Okay, that's another one.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'm an OG David Lynch Twin Peaks fan. I never heard that this was a first film of a trilogy. Never. All this talk about first film of a trilogy came out years later, and it probably was because he had a 3 or 4 picture deal with CIBY, which he applied to Lost Highway and Straight Story and things like that. But I don't think that maybe it was like, hey, if this does well, maybe we could do another film, But I don't think Fire Walk With Me was being set up as the first film of a trilogy. It doesn't feel like that at all.
I mean, the way it ends seems pretty final.
Definitive.
Yeah.
Again, every filmmaker thinks about cool things that he'd like to do or she'd like to do. That doesn't mean that that was a plan set in motion.
I mean, yeah. He also said "dead like a doornail" how many times before season 3 happened.
Right. I like this picture of Lynch and Kyle on set right before he does the Diane monologue in Fire Walk With Me, which I think is, in terms of footage that we see in the theatrical cut, is maybe Kyle's best moment of harnessing that original Cooper version we see in the pilot. Okay. Yeah. So special thanks. But that is the article, which I think is fascinating.
It's a fantastic article. Yeah.
It is. Overall, it is an A plus article. I do think there are some holes in it that could be filled, and hopefully they will be. And then this will be truly a definitive article. So
thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Steven wrote that.
Yeah, him and then he collaborated with a few other people to find all these pictures from all over. It's pretty amazing stuff. So, Steven, thank you so much for all your hard work, because that's really cool. Because I was always under the impression that again, the press screen had gone bad. I mean, but but I was never aware of how the red carpet one went. I kind of figured it's maybe a little bit about the same. I don't know, but getting that footage and seeing people applauding it after it was over, and then seeing how happy he looked at the premiere party.
Yeah, I mean, the premiere party seemed like a blast. Jeez.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he was more depressed after the box office returns you know.
Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense now.
Especially because Wild at Heart was a hit. I mean, it made money. So he probably was hoping that Fire Walk With Me was, Fire Walk With Me would have made money if it had come out between season 1 and 2. If it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the air died a little bit. Probably back
a
then.
little bit.
I don't know. I was little. I don't know.
I found another article today that said it was from November 1990, like after Madeline's death had happened. The article says, I believe it's like Newsweek or something like that. It says, does anyone out there even care about Laura Palmer anymore? This was November of 1990. So let alone August 1992 with a movie about Laura Palmer.
If only those people saw what was happening today, they would lose their minds.
Exactly. So anyway, so we have a bunch of comments here. Let's see here.
I forgot I was watching something the other day and there was a Twin Peaks reference. I was surprised.
Oh my God, they're all over the place, especially in that Gilmore Girls reboot. It's like,
oh yeah, there was one in every episode at least. They did the Eraserhead screening. She says, "It's me wrapped in plastic," and then there was another one, and that was like what, a year before The Return came out. That came out.
Right. Tony says, "I want live proof of Fire Walk With Me getting booed." On YouTube, they have the Wild at Heart getting booed by half the audience. Yes, they do. Rob says, in my dreams, I'm watching an alternate Fire Walk With Me with no Chris Isaac and only McLaughlin. I will say this. Listen, I'm a big Chris Isaac fan. I like his stuff a lot. I will say, though, that if it had been Kyle MacLachlan and Kiefer Sutherland in that whole first half, it probably would have been received better by critics.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I love both of them, but probably would have gone over better. I agree.
Exactly.
Caffeine's a drug. Nicotine's a drug.
That would have been great, seeing Kyle like pairing off against that waitress, because that would have contrasted very nicely to him talking to Norma and Shelley and Annie and all them. So.
Who's the towhead?
Let's see here. Some very interesting comments. Some I don't know if I should read, but they'll be on the video for people to check this out. Let's see. People are saying this is great journalism. Well, I didn't write this article. This is Steven's work here. Check it out. Twin Peaks blog. TwinPeaksblog.com. I was like thinking, is it something else? But no. Let's see. Tony says, I thought I read that a longer version would be released and a sequel called 1,000 Angels. Twin Peaks Coffee Time is here. Hello. It says that possible sequels were reported on the UK press in 91, 90, and 92. So yeah, that didn't make it over here at all until like whatever was wrapped in plastic, 1998 or something like that, you know. Daniel says sequels definitely reported 1992. Well, I didn't hear about them, so then you guys must be right.
I'm not sure.
Twin Peaks Coffee Time says, I think if Fire Walk With Me was successful, there could have been a sequel that was independent of Laura's story. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's no point in bringing in Philip Jeffries to not deal with Philip Jeffries in later films. It's kind of like it's kind of like in season 1 of Twin Peaks when they bring up the drug running, they bring up Josie Packer's beef with Catherine and Ben, because the Laura Palmer story was supposed to get kind of lowered down so the other crimes could be investigated, you know. Mm-hmm. They were setting things up. Tony says, yep, it bombed, so no sequels. I loved it though. Fire Walk With Me was the first Twin Peaks I saw. Didn't know any better to see the series first.
Interesting. It's always interesting to hear people that came in different parts or started different. I know some people that watched the return and then went back and watched everything, which is interesting.
Twin Peaks Coffee Time says Lynch deciding on a prequel made certain it wouldn't be a hit at the box office, in my view. I do think that if he had done a Godfather 2 and had a prequel sequel, that probably would have gone over better. I think he tried to do that with scenes like Annie stuff and Cooper
Don't take the ring
and Cooper in his bathroom and stuff, and struck me as funny and all that. It just wasn't enough, and they all hit the cutting room floor anyway, so it didn't really help that. Let's see. Nightman Comment says, is there anything to the Instagram picture from Sabrina Sutherland? I heard she posted things may be closer than they appear with the Twin Peaks hashtag. Is that true? The picture was of David Lynch in like the side mirror of a car. So
it's a little cheeky, yeah.
Twin Peaks Coffee Time says 1,000 Angels was a UK fans production company trying to raise money to make a new Twin Peaks film around 2000 or so. It seemed a bit far-fetched, but a nice idea. Kind of like when, do you remember when it was rumored that Twin Peaks fans were going to pool their money together and buy the Laura Palmer house so they could set up an official Twin Peaks museum?
Yeah, I was around by that time.
and then they realized that they couldn't open up a business in that neighborhood.
A lot of legal stuff you got, yeah. Can't just put merch, turn somebody's house into a merch store or a museum, whatever you want to do.
So, anyway, that's kind of funny. But yeah, let's check in and see how my poll is doing, shall we?
Yeah. Now it's time to watch the polls. Head to the polls.
Let me hang on a second.
Rock the vote.
Let me pull this up. We'll see. Oh, okay. So for those of you who are coming in later, on the Queen of Hearts Twitter account, I put up a poll. How excited are you to see Queen of Hearts? Very, somewhat, or not at all. And let's take a look at where we are. We have 88% for very and 11.1 for not at all. I still have no idea. Like, you have to like, there's not that many followers on this account, so you have to like be following this account or see somebody that retweeted it.
That's the only thing I could think. Yeah.
Right. So you kind of have to go a little out of your way to find this poll, and you're just like, not at all. Let's just be an a-hole and just say not at all.
I mean, unless it is one person that saw a retweet and have no idea what any of this is and is like, why would I care? That's a total possibility, but yeah. Stop the count.
Stop the count. Well, it goes another 24 hours. So, let's see. Tony says, I remembered the fight for the Twin Peaks deleted scenes by fans. Oh, I remember going to this one website. I can't remember what it was, but it was like a whole thing about like, release the deleted scenes. It was before release the Snyder Cut. It was very much. And there was all this talk before the Fire Walk With Me DVD came out. We're going to do it. We're going to get it on the DVD. And then it was like, oh, Lynch can't get the scenes. They're going to cost too much. Or he couldn't get the rights to them or whatever. And the DVD came out bare bones, except for that awful documentary, which I don't even want to remember the name. And then it was available at Costco for like, I think it was like $17. And I remember watching it looking at it going, they failed. Didn't get the deleted scenes. It's just the trailer and some silly documentary. I didn't know how long it was. I still bought it. Of course I did.
Sure.
So, and I'm glad I did, because the New Line logo is on that DVD release as it should be, because that's who distributed it here in the States. But there is like 12 more seconds of wind and storm effects during the New Line logo that is removed from all subsequent releases because New Line no longer controls the film.
I feel like you told me that once. Yeah.
So if you have the VHS tape or the original DVD, you have more Twin Peaks sound effects than the Blu-rays.
I need to pick up the VHS tape.
At least just get the DVD. So
I have so many Fire Walk With Me now. Ridiculous.
I know, it's ridiculous. I did a
tipping the scales.
Ooh, we're at 10.5, not at all.
It's a B plus.
Yay. Yeah, I did kind of sort of an inventory on how many things at Twin Peaks do I have. And I don't have the laser disc, so that was good. I don't have the VHS tapes except for one episode. I have the original tapes from my recording, but I'm not counting those. So I have the season 1 Artisan set. Then I have the gold box. Now I keep the Artisan set because honestly, the picture quality was through the roof because it was only like 1 or 2 episodes a disc, and there was commentaries by the filmmakers from the series. It was like heavenly. The gold box set, and then I have the Z to A. But in terms of Fire Walk With Me, I have the DVD release, the Criterion release, the bootleg fan cut, and then the Z to A. So I literally have 4. Oh, and I have a VHS rip of it. I have like 5 copies of Fire Walk With Me in this house, and it's a movie that I one day can praise to the heavens, and the next day completely dismantle it in terms of continuity of the show. And yet I have like 5 copies of the movie.
I think it just kind of happens. Nobody plans it.
But I did get rid of that complete mystery Blu-ray set and my season 3 initial Blu-ray set because everything was imported over for the Z to A box set. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna. I know there are Uber fans out there that get all the releases. I don't have that much room, so I'm going to, as new releases come out, I'll get rid of the other ones. So,
yeah. Also, that first season 3 release was.
That cover was horrifically bad.
It was
the Dougie / Mr. C. With I remember seeing that going, I know what you're trying to do with that, like, kind of do something with that complete mystery set. But even that complete mystery set, it looks cool, but it's a pain in the butt to have that thing, like,
Yeah, I thought I was gonna break the DVDs.
Many people did.
Trying to pull out of the slots. Yeah, no. I'd never even touch it. I just get the Z to A.
Yeah. So anyway, let's see some more comments here.
It's leaving Netflix, by the way, even though it was on pretty much every streaming service. I don't know if it's still going to be on Hulu. But
for Twin Peaks?
For Twin Peaks, yeah.
They're pulling it to be part of the Paramount Plus.
It's going to be Paramount Plus. Okay.
Yeah.
Fire Walk With Me is still on HBO Max, though.
It's not on Showtime?
I think I don't know.
It's on HBO Max, but I think it should be on Showtime as well.
Not sure. I don't really use Showtime much.
Yeah, I don't have a streaming version of Fire Walk With Me. Now, if they released like a big version of it or something like that, yeah, I would get that. But I do have season 3 on streaming. Oh, and I have season 1 and 2 on streaming as well. So those count? Yeah. So I have like 4 versions of those. And then I have 2 versions of season 3, and oh my goodness, it's crazy. I don't have this for anything else. It's not like I have like 6 copies of The Godfather in this house or something like that.
What do you need that for?
I don't know.
Something about Twin Peaks. Just, I feel like there's so much scarcity with merchandising for it, or at least there was.
Well,
recently.
each one of those releases has something the other ones don't.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why. Twin Peaks Coffee Time says, in reference to the Laura Palmer house being turned into a museum, you can't set up Laura's bedroom as an amusement park. Reenacting Laura and Bob scenes. It's unlawful.
Oh my god.
You know that would happen. It's like I remember when it was for sale, thinking, wouldn't it be great to like own that house and then do these type of videos like in Laura's bedroom, you know, with that window right behind you. That'd be amazing.
Terrifying.
I would love it. Nightman Kuma says, I enjoyed the scene from Queen of Hearts she posted the other day. Why, thank you. I appreciate it. Did you get a chance to see that scene? Or the with Cooper at the door and Caroline?
That one I definitely saw all of.
Okay. Mandela Man says, I signed the petition for the firewalk.
FBI guys?
Yes. Well, of course, you know, he likes it when women admire his stature and his place in the world. Mandela Man says, I signed the petition for the Firewalk with Me scenes. I think I did too. Because back in like 98, 99, I was all about online petitions.
Oh yeah, that was the time for online petitions. I mean, now too, every petition for everything. But
Jacob says, David Lynch saw my Inland Empire commentary and downvoted Queen of Hearts. That hurts, Jacob. That hurts a lot.
That's funny.
So, let's see. Twin Peaks Coffee Time says, what sound effects are missing from Firewalk with Me? Only at the beginning during the New Line logo.
I'll give them back right now.
It's worse than that. It's like a storm. Oh. You hear like rain clouds and things like that. Let's see. Jacob says that set, I don't know which set you're talking about, is comically designed garbage, but I'm stuck with it for now. You know what? I don't know which season 3 set. Maybe, I don't know. Some people really complained about season 1 and 2. I didn't have that problem, but a lot of people did have like where like the flaps would come out unglued and things like that. But the season 3 set was straight up garbage.
Yeah, just give us the clicky things.
No, it was straight up garbage. Do you remember when I did my unboxing video and the disc just all fell out?
Uh-huh.
I mean, because it was like, remember when the season 3 set came out? You couldn't find it. It was like a pilgrimage to like go find a store within 100 miles that carried it. I remember buying copies for people that watched this show for them to mail to them because they couldn't find it anywhere. And then I got home, I opened it up, and it was just like, I was like, what the hell?
Raining Twin Peaks.
Who put this thing together? Straight up garbage. Yeah. So when I heard that the C to A box set was coming out, I felt like that's kind of mean to like come out with another set right away and like have more bonus features and stuff like that after, you know. But I was so ready to get rid of that season 3 set. I was like, I'm gonna do it.
I never use it. It's just sitting up on that shelf.
Yeah. Twin Peaks Coffee Time says, thank you for recreating those sound effects, Joey. You just sent a shiver down my spine and my socks are on fire. Start getting into ASMR.
Might have already gotten into ASMR, but I'm glad you liked it.
Jacob says, I love the Blu-ray set for the first 2 seasons. No complaints there. Well, there were a lot of complaints from other people. I know that. So, and I guarantee you that within just probably a year or two, they'll release the entire series all in 4K. I'll have to buy it again.
So I what was it, like a month ago? I watched the pilot in 4K. I was expecting a little bit more, to be honest. It was still, I don't know. It didn't look like they might have just put it on a 4K timeline. Like some scenes were a little bit crisper and the colors were a little clearer, but I don't know if there was. I don't know. I don't know if they might have just scanned it and up. I don't know if they did anything extra to it.
What about episode 8? How'd that look in 4K?
It was fine. Again, that episode is like mostly in black and white, and it was crisp. It was nice, but I didn't notice like a difference. I have a 4K TV, and I didn't notice too much of a difference.
Twin Peaks Coffee Time says, Joey, could you please do an ASMR sound effects for Twin Peaks? Recreate James's bike engine's noise or Bob shouting, "What happened to Josie?" in ASMR. How would you do that? Would it be like something like, Coop, what happened to Josie?
Yeah. I mean, Twin Peaks is already kind of an ASMR-y kind of show. Everybody's, especially when James talks, he whispers everything. Laura, I love you, Laura. He's already kind of whispering all his lines anyway, so maybe just listen to Twin Peaks with headphones on, watch all the James scenes, and you might have that Twin Peaks ASMR you're looking for.
Here's my favorite line. It does matter. We're in love.
Turkeys are the dumbest birds.
Oh, I went when that film came out on VHS. I had like some friends over, and they're watching that scene. And when Laura does the gobble gobble line, one of the girls that was over there just started howling with laughter, and she's like, "That's the dumbest thing that any director could have had an actress say." Gobble gobble gobble, and it always kind of made me go, I understand the scene. I understand the point of the scene. I understand the empathy of the scene. But if you have someone in a not even on the wavelength of what that movie's doing, it is comically horrific.
Uh-huh. Oh, I know. I've sat with friends watching it that weren't really into Twin Peaks, and they're like, "Why do you like this?" I'm like, it's hard to explain, but just hang out here, come along for the ride.
Twin Peaks Coffee Time says the return. Peter Deming made the return look flatter in the mastering, so I don't know how good 4K could look.
I believe I looked this up, and I think they only shot it in 2K.
Yes.
So the 4K is an upscale already, so it's not going to look that much better than 1080. So,
but I'll bet you season 2.
It wasn't shot on film.
I bet you season 2 would look fantastic in 4K. I think season 1 probably has that 16mm quality to it, but once they exploded into those big sets with all those bright lights, I think season 2 would be pretty cool.
If somebody whoever does the Criterion scan, I don't know what machines they use or whatever, but if they get them to do it on those same machines with the same kind of attention, I think season 1 and 2 would look fantastic in 4K, or screw it, go up to 6K at this point. I don't know. I don't know what I think 4K might be the top for film conversion. Like, I think 6K, you get too much of the grain.
I'd also argue that if the Zeta 8 box set had included Fire Walk With Me in 4K, that thing would have flown off the Amazon shelves.
Absolutely. I think I would have had to retire the Criterion. Because the Criterion looks great, but if you get a truly converted or a full 4K scan of Fire Walk With Me, I'll buy it again.
Yeah, there was let me see if I can. Let's see. There was something really funny here. Is it? Where is it?
Yeah.
Where is it? There was. I guess it's not. Oh, somebody had found that when, and of course, I'm never looking at this kind of stuff, so it kind of surprised me. You know that scene where like Donna gets the mail towards the end of season 2, and she gets that postcard from James that he's riding his bike to San Francisco. Underneath the postcard, there's a letter from like, I don't know, to like some crew member from the show, and it says Studio City, California, as the address that like they're receiving it, and of course, they're filming it in Studio City, California, right? So like they didn't even notice that
someone's like, here, take this mail for this.
Take this mail, and Donna's just like look at the postcard, and like there's all this LA mail that she's got from the show.
She's secretly an actress. Maybe that's what Unrecorded Night is.
Yes. Let's see here. Twin Peaks Coffee Time says, "Sweet Joseph, that was pretty erotic the way you recreated Bob." Thanks, James. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And Twin Peaks Coffee Time again says, "Because your hair is so soft and it smells so good."
Yeah, see, all James' lines are basically ASMR already.
We should just do that. We should just out of context, James Hurley lines. Just read every line from season 1 of James in ASMR. James Hurley ASMR video.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds good.
Here we go. Let's do it. Here we go. Ready? Can't do it.
That's perfect. That was exactly.
How about this one? Nice day for a picnic.
Right. Nice day for a picnic.
Exactly. Oh my! I would like to just do Laura Palmer's though too, and be like,
she whispered a lot in Firewalker.
James is so sweet, but God, he's so dumb. Oh God. Jacob says Joey recreating the sound of Bad Coop vomiting up Carmen Bozia when. I feel like it would really elevate the status of this channel. What?
Let me get some cream corn and some motor oil. I'll put it around in a bucket and just swoosh it around, and then I'm not putting that in my mouth.
Oh, poor Kyle.
I don't get paid enough.
Poor Kyle having to stick that all in his mouth and do that.
Yeah.
So.
And then go all. Oh, gross. See, he got paid to do that. I'm not getting paid.
All right, let's see. Oh man, we've gone up.
Oh.
12.5, not at all. Like nobody's somewhat. Like I'm somewhat interested. It's either I really am interested or not
it's a very
at all.
Divisive film.
It's the Fire Walk with Me of fan films.
Yeah, the press doesn't like it, but
the press doesn't like it.
Movie fans will.
That's Twin Peaks fan community gatekeepers and Reddit, which I'm pretty sure are the same people.
Yeah. You might spill over to 4chan a little bit.
They don't have that anymore, isn't it? Like
or 8chan, whatever the hell's out.
Whatever it is.
Dare not speak its name.
All right, let's go over some of these real quick though, because you did not. Because I know you told me you like these, so let's discuss some of these. Here's a behind the scenes shot. Cooper and Caroline sitting down and not working.
Wow. Okay. Jeez. You're gonna pull a Nolan, no sitting on set.
There are no chairs provided on the set of Queen of Hearts. No.
Oh my God.
No. So you were saying that you like these you like these pictures.
Yeah, no, I always like BTS stuff.
Here is
little table read. Is that what's going on?
Well, kind of. It was the first it was the script read, and everybody's looking like cool and everything like that. And we even had some actors here that ended up not being in the film because of the pandemic.
Mm.
We ended up having to slice some scenes. And let's see here. And here I am.
Hospital scene.
With Annie in between shots here. And cool. Let's see if here's the diner in all its glory.
Nice.
That's a picture I took. You can see the cook in the back looking at me like, what the hell? It's like Toad back there. It's like, stop filming. Let's see here. Oh, here's Mr. C in the alcave ring. Look how happy he is.
Don't take the ring, Mr. C.
Don't take the ring, Mr. C. He's like, I'm going to take it.
Yeah, it's green. I love it.
Let's see here. Yeah, here's the...
There we go.
There's the before and after. Let's see. Oh, here it is, right here. Here it is. So San Francisco. And then down here it says Jeff Moore.
That's hilarious.
Studio City, California. That is brilliant. Brilliant. That's good stuff there.
Years later, still finding stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Here's
cool shot.
You want to talk about an epic shot? Look at that. This is a publicity photo though. But well, it's not like this is not like a scene from the film. It's just I was running around doing stuff, and the still photographer like took all these pictures without me knowing about it. But when I saw it, I was like, oh, these are cool. So that Miss Twin Peaks dress is like the bee's knees, let me tell you.
It's so textured. It looks great in black and white.
Yeah.
It's like the drapes of the.
Here's another one. I like this. Look at Maddie back there pulling the Heather Graham like spaced out look. It's cool. And of course, the poster. For those of you who haven't seen it. And that's very cool. Maya, thank you very much for making that. Oh, look at this.
Nice.
And look at that phone. Isn't that amazing? That was my phone growing up that I actually found out is the phone in Laura Palmer's bedroom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Nice little serendipity there.
Yeah, here's during the pandemic. I like went back. This is originally we were going to shoot Glastonbury Grove. We ended up having to get another location, but we went out there to start setting it up, and we had to leave because the Rangers found us, and and
as they do.
As they do. Well, it happened accidentally because one of the actors was lost, and they went to the ranger station and they said, "I'm lost." And they said, "Where are you trying to get to?" And they said, "To the film location." And we didn't have permits for the film location. You know what I mean? So they came and said, "Go away." And so we had to quickly take down our trees and leave.
Whoops.
But we actually ended up finding a better location, which is great. And then but we left the rock formation, and I went back months later, like during the pandemic, to take a walk, and it was still there. So somebody's made up a bunch of conspiracies about the rocks. Absolutely.
I was hiking the other day and I saw these rocks.
Here's another behind the scene of me
Hospital.
And Annie, and there's one of her nurses, and cool. I like that. And here's a publicity shot of Cooper and Wyndham Earle with some electricity behind them.
Yep, electricity.
Some people have commented this reminds them of a very Fire Walk with Me type of shot. And
cloudy skies.
Maybe it's just because of the electrical wires, but let's see here. This is cool here. How's Annie? And there she is. And if you look over here, there's the rock formation.
Oh yeah,
Glastonbury Grove. Look at those leaves. My goodness. Anything else? Yeah. I know you like this shot of like.
Oh, the chest.
And Caroline all excited. It's like a major turn on for Wyndham to knock Cooper's piece right off the board.
Little did he know what was to come.
Exactly. So if any of you want to be kind and say you're excited for the film, I like this Heather Graham gif here. That's very much how I see Annie Blackburn. No kidding. Anything else?
I'll play Annie in the sequel.
Oh, look, here's me and
directorial stuff going on here.
Look at me, I got my finger pointing and everything.
Yeah, that's pure director Cameron over there.
I'm like, listen, You know, we're going to do this 50,000 times if we have to. No, I'm kidding.
Who gives a shit about how long a scene is?
Exactly. But what happened is we had what we thought was going to be like our studio where we were going to shoot it. And then we ended up finding a better location. The problem was that we didn't have enough floor for it. So basically every time we turned the camera around, we had to move the floor.
Reset, yeah.
We had to reset the whole floor. I was hoping we could just have the whole floor and then just shoot it. But no, we had to reset every time we moved the camera. It was a 14-hour day, folks. 14 hours. Moving the floors every time we moved the camera. It was ridiculous. But we made it. And then a month later, we had lockdown.
Yeah.
So
I love 2020.
I'm so happy we
the eyeball shot. I still love that shot.
Which eyeball shot?
The one a little bit
This
further.
one?
Yeah. Those are the Annie eyes. Yep.
That's Maddie realizing we have several more days on the production schedule.
It's a good way to get in character.
How many more days? How many more days are we doing this? And I like this. I did this kind of fun thing here. The mystery continues soon. See, anyone who's an old school Twin Peaks fan remembers these pictures in the TV guide. This is how they used to promote Twin Peaks all the time, with like various questions and things like that. So I write, what is Annie doing in the woods? Where are Cooper and Earl going? And how will the story resolve?
Titillating.
And now Jack Rabbit's palace is no longer there.
That's upsetting.
It is. But Jack Rabbit's palace, look at this. It lives on, though. It lives on. Let's see. Anything else here? That's pretty much it. Oh, this is... People really like this picture, which is kind of funny because I didn't think anyone would.
This one.
A lot of people, have commented on it, and I didn't think it would get a reaction, but people seem to like it. And then the same one with Cooper and Caroline here. Look at those doors! My God, they tower above her.
Wow.
And the quote says, "You ever been in love, Cooper?" So anyway, let's see where we are in terms of the poll. 24. Okay, 24 votes. 25 votes. Okay, so we're 88% and 12%. 88% really, really want to see the movie. 12%, they don't care at all. But they care enough to vote. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Playing hard to get.
Exactly. Let's see. Oh, we have a couple comments and then we'll wrap it up and we'll close out at the 2-hour mark. The 12-hour mark. Good Lord. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, we got some cool comments here. What the heck?
I'm sure I should be concerned.
Let's see here. Twin Peaks Coffee Time says that photo of Cooper and Caroline has great lighting. It does. It actually was a little bit dark, and I posted it today, and I was like, you know what, that looks a little bit dark. So I deleted it, and I kind of touched it up a little bit, just in terms of raising up the sunlight a little bit on it. And so now it really kind of pops. And that's, I gotta tell you, that's one of the hardest things about working on this film for me is like the photography. Like I'm really happy with a lot of shots, and then like I start experimenting with the color correction, and I go, ooh, I can make it now look like this, and I can bring down the contrast.
That's where you can lose a lot of time. Yep.
And I can bring up the brightness, or I can turn down the contrast, or I can pump up the magenta, or I can do, And then someone contacted me the other day, and they're just like, "Hey, how much sepia are you going to use?" And I'm like, "Oh, don't get me down that road," because because then I noticed season 1 is all sepia,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like,
very orange,
and I'm just like, "Oh my god, am I going to have to go through this whole thing and sepia up this thing too?" So it's like, it's just that is like, there's a reason why there's a color correctionist. You know what I mean? Like full time on a film.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure even after I release Queen of Hearts, like I'll get it as good as I can get it, put it out, and then 6 weeks later, I'll be like, oh, I could touch up that shot. I could clean that up. I can do this. I could that.
That's the problem with digital. You could just like keep redoing it and editing and tweaking it. Then you have to have the black and white version.
I will never do the black and white version. No, because you know what? Because well, I mean, it's like you can't really do a black and white version of Twin Peaks because there's certain areas of the Twin Peaks world that are inherently black and white, and the rest of it, you know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Otherwise, you're saying the whole thing's in the other realm or something like that. You know what I mean? Let's see. Tony says, "When's the Queen of Hearts Q2 fan edit?" There won't be a fan edit. Twin Peaks Coffee Time says,
"Give me the footage, Cameron."
That's a great pick of the diner, an angle I've not often seen too. Yes. Well, feel free to retweet any of these, James. Let's see here. Jacob says, not only does Cameron not allow chairs, he also has a no blinking policy on set. He simply will not allow the actors to blink in between takes. Jacob, I have to ask you. I really have to ask you. Have you been talking to anybody?
There's a mole.
No, have you been talking to people? Because that was actually one of my rules. Because I would redo scenes. I'm like, you blink too much. Or my favorite one was when I told a couple of the actors they need to stop breathing. Because
they were like nervous breathing and those.
No, because you could tell, like, their chest. I say, just obviously breathe, but I just came out with like, can you stop breathing? because I didn't want the inflated sometimes, like when you're on a close up, you can see the chest move. Do you know what I mean? And I wanted more still. But the thing is that we were working long hours, sometimes with very bright lights. It would get to the actors, and so they would, as the takes would go on, they would start doing this,
And
I'd be like, you're twitching, you're blinking too much. And I would like kind of say, like, listen, if you need to blink after this line, because I will cut to the other actor. I know I'm going to cut to that actor on that line, so you can blink, close your eyes, and then reopen, and then say it again. You know what I mean? Because like, if you blink too much, it's considered weakness, and I don't know. It's just like, you can really tell when someone's blinking.
Yeah. If anybody, like, go watch any movie, and just try to pay attention to when people blink. You'll either never see it or you'll start noticing it all the time.
Some people blink way too much, and then someone like Michael Caine, like, he will pick an eye, like his whoever he's talking to, he'll pick an eye, like the left eye or right eye, and hold that eye, and he won't blink on certain stuff, so that you feel like the power of it. And it wasn't so much about don't blink at all. It was like, don't blink during this key line, or don't
blink, don't sit, and don't breathe.
Those are that should be a t-shirt. No sitting, no blinking, no breathing.
Queen of Hearts, a Twin Peaks fan film.
Yeah.
No blinking, no breathing, no sitting. Save Annie.
Another one I would always say is, that was great. Let's do one more.
Yeah, that comes with the territory. Get one for safety.
Yeah, but then I would get one for safety from the safety. So
fix it in post.
exactly.
I'm just kidding.
Let's see. Nightmare Comment says, I heard Cameron made an actor do 37 takes of closing a car door. No. But I will say this, though. For one scene, I know I shot like nearly 2 hours of footage for one scene. And, I mean, I like started crying.
And you were just doing single camera. You weren't doing. Were you doing multi-camera for any of the shots? Just
single. All single camera. I said to Maddie, I said, shouldn't we go get some more cameras so that we don't have to worry about that? You know what I mean? Like, let's just capture like 5 different angles at once. And she said, no, because then the other cameras will be all haphazard, and I want you to feel like you're in control of the film. And I said, yeah, but sometimes you might get something you don't normally get.
That's why you get an assistant director. Yeah.
We didn't have a crew, Joey. If Maddie wasn't acting, she was standing with me or helping out across the room doing something else. It was me and her doing everything.
No, I know.
We had no assistant director. Or we didn't have it, you know. I mean, if like someone else was on set with us, maybe they would help us, and that would be great. Better than that, it was just me and her.
If I could have, I would have.
I know you would have, but I'm saying that it was basically 2 people at all times doing this. So we're doing it all. Twin Peaks Coffee Time says the Wyndham and Cooper shot with the electric lines is nice. Let's see. Jacob says Cameron has a spray bottle filled with vinegar that he will spray at the cast and crew when they misbehave. No one has been hurt by this, of course. More irritating than anything else.
And then everything smells like vinegar.
I did not use that tactic, but maybe for future releases. Yeah. I don't know. Future endeavors. Let's see. What the heck? Let's see. Manila the Man says, I know we can't purchase a copy of Queen Hearts, but we'll be able for you to make personal copies. Well, when it's online, you can just use like YouTube downloader and just download it. Mandela Man says, how does the fan page have 213 followers but 602 people following? How does that work? No. There's 200 something following the page, but the page is following other people.
There is a thing on Facebook now where people can like a page but not follow it as well. I don't know if that's what he means.
He's referring to the Twitter account.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Okay.
Basically, the page is following a bunch of people, and not a lot of people are following back. As you can see, there are people literally voting that they're not interested at all in the film, but they're interested in downvoting it. So, all is good in the Twin Peaks fan community. So, anyway, all right, let's wrap this up. This has been a bundle of fun tonight. Joey, where can people find you besides YouTube and Instagram that's been up here for a while?
That's most of the main places. YouTube, everything is just Joey Pedras. So if you look for it, you'll probably find me. Those are the main things I'm on. You
can also find you on Amazon.com and get his book.
If you want to read some ridiculous poetry I wrote when I was like 19 and 20, get the book.
So I have probably a handful of people that I think we should all get together and write a Twin Peaks book.
I think, yeah.
I mean, if they can do, other essay books, I think we can throw in our voices too. There's honestly, if we get a few people here in the chat, I'd like to invite along on that journey.
If we could get 15 to 20, not even 20, maybe 15 people to write maybe 700 to 1500 word essays or whatever, think pieces, short stories, whatever, we could totally make a book. It wouldn't be that hard.
And I'm not going to say it here on camera, but I already have the title for the book. I've been wanting to do a book like this for a while, and I've had the title for just as long, and I think it'd be really cool to do.
Maybe we should start talking about it.
Well, since you're Mr. Book Publisher, I think that should be something that we do in the next year.
If people watching this are interested in writing something and putting it in a book, like a collection with other people, just either message Cameron or me, or put us both in like a message group or something, and let us know what ideas you have. We could start this thing today. We could start, turning the wheels.
I'm trying to finish.
No, you wouldn't have to write. We could get things going. See who's actually interested.
Yeah, I already have ideas for like 1 or 2 essays I'd like to do, but as long as I can call the book what I want it to be called, I'll be happy. So, all right, we'll make sure to follow Joey on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. So, like I said, Nightman Cometh. Seriously, the more the merrier. Come find us. Give us an idea of like what you want to be writing, so that we're not all writing the same topic.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we can all work that out. And then, as for myself, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Follow us on Patreon. Joey has a Patreon as well.
Yeah, I need to really tweak mine, but it's there.
And Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, emails anytime at obnoxiousanonymous@hotmail.com. And join the Queen of Hearts Twitter page and give it some love, because there's a lot of people who are following the page and not liking or retweeting a single thing. It's almost like they're kind of hate watching the page.
It's United States. We love that kind of thing.
I know, but if I'm following somebody and there's something cool or whatever, I always like it or retweet it. Or I don't just sit there and pretend they don't exist. Then why am I following them?
Yeah, I don't know. There's not enough hours in the day for that, to be honest.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I really appreciate it. We actually had a fun conversation talking all things David Lynch and Twin Peaks, and we will see you soon. Take it easy. Have a wonderful night. Take care. Bye-bye.